So the embargo just lifted for Fallout 76 gameplay. I know a lot of people really wanted to see just that raw gameplay of me playing the game for the 3 hours I was allowed to. That video is up right now. You can click on the little card if you want to see it, but I figure a lot of you are probably like me where you don't really want to watch 3 hours of straight gameplay. There's a ton of other YouTubers uploading this stuff, so with this video what I figure is I'll just show you some of the best things I did in my playthrough. You don't have to see me fast traveling or dying and having to respawn, but just kind of a highlight reel of all the interesting things. I'll talk a little bit with each clip to actually give you some context as to what's going on in that particular instance, but otherwise trying to keep things pretty basic and raw here. So to start things off, my original game plan with this was literally just to dart out of the vault as fast as possible, and I was successful in that. I was the first person out of the vault in my playthrough. That's a pretty big milestone, right? Scattered around the map were actually these high-level Bethesda employees. I don't think he was expecting for anyone to actually leave the vault yet, so it seems like he was actually AFK when I walk up to him at first. But from this, you actually got a sneak peek that the 10mm SMG is making a return in this game. So here I discovered the giant teapot. This was like the first little side quest I actually found in the game. Notice as I talk to this robot the lack of dialogue options. I think this is definitely one of those instances where in Fallout 4 there would have been dialogue here, even though it was fairly basic.
Teapot, one of our many claims to fame here in Appalachia. I'm your humble but enthusiastic host, Giles Sweetwater. But please call me Sweetwater. A nice cup of tea and a biscuit go well with Armageddon. Tea goes well with anything, truth be told.
From there I do this event where I have to defend the teapot for a certain amount of time in order to create tea or something. While I was filming this I was kind of confused as to what was going on, but you get a good look at some of the enemies and creatures in this.
You'd best keep an eye out for trouble.
You'll notice these cuts throughout the video and probably all of the various gameplays. Basically, our recording software we are required to stop and start periodically, so that's what those cuts are. Looking off into the distance, I saw the Poseidon power plant. It looked like a pretty cool location, so I wanted to go and check it out.
This is a Level 2 nuclear alert. Repeat, this is a Level 2 nuclear alert. Poseidon Energy Plant WV-06 has suffered a critical failure. Hazmat teams are en route. Please remain indoors and await further instructions.
So here you can see me discovering a bobblehead in a little stash. A few interesting things about this bobblehead. One, the leader bobblehead is not something we've seen any other time, and also the bobblehead actually looks like it's a one-time use item. You don't get a flat bonus anymore like you did in previous games, but now rather you get a timed bonus, or at least with this particular one. There might be differences for some of the other bobbleheads. I actually don't know of anyone else that found one, but definitely an interesting mechanic. So here, after successfully clearing out a public workshop, I actually can claim it for a price. This then becomes a typical workshop that I can build in, but also I do believe other people in my squad can also build here. Then an enemy squad can come along and actually contest this and try and take it from us. It basically will be a King of the Hill style thing, so I'll have to kill them, get them out of the zone. I don't actually have any footage of that because it didn't happen, but the value of this workshop is if I repaired it, this fusion core processor would actually give me fusion cores over time. It didn't really tell me that in game, or at least I missed it, but I asked one of the devs as I was playing. So something new with Fallout 76 are these treasure maps. In my actual gameplay, I didn't really take advantage of this that much, but as I was walking around and just watching other people play before my gameplay session, I actually saw a group of people get one of these treasure maps and find the treasure. So more or less, you find this map and it's an image of something. You have to find that area, and once you get into that area, I believe you actually melee attack the ground and you'll find a buried treasure. Now don't quote me on that because I was only kind of watching this out of the corner of my eye, but obviously it was in a different session, so somebody has gameplay footage of this. It's definitely an interesting mechanic though, and probably something fun to do with squads. I personally didn't want to do it because I didn't want to walk around trying to find this location while I was on a limited time span. In this town, I end up stumbling upon the Mothman Museum. This is a particularly interesting location, and based off what I saw, some of the notes, some of the shrines to Mothman, it definitely seems like there's a lot more that would happen here. Going through the location, it felt like I was just scratching the top for the lore on Mothman. And talking to some other people, apparently there's some holotapes that are very long on Mothman. I don't know if I just missed them through my playthrough of the location, or if they were just gone. Trying to get away from the Mothman Museum, I actually spot MrMattyPlays on the map. I'd been talking to him before this event, but we were at different tables. He was just on the same server as me. I figured it was as good a time as any to actually try out some PvP, so you get to see the revenge system and PvP itself in action. During the entire playtest, I was on comms with other people in my squad. They were going through the main quests and actually just kind of doing a more traditional route, and I wanted to avoid that, but at this point they actually told me they had found the Greenbrier and were going there. So I fast traveled to them, and the Greenbrier is a pretty crazy location, definitely one of the safer ones in Appalachia.
It's funny what comes to mind at a time like this. When I was little, I used to come here with my
With this shot in particular, if you actually look, you could see how accurate a representation of the real Greenbrier this in-game recreation was. I know for a lot of us, as we were playing the game, this was a very surreal experience because this is the place we had been walking through the past few days for this Bethesda event. So something interesting to point out here, you can actually see this little keycard slot kind of preventing me from getting deeper into this bunker. I forget who said it, but it was highlighted by someone during this event that a lot of locations in Fallout 76, or a good number of them at the very least, have almost a duality to them. You have the face value where you just kind of find the basic loot, maybe lockpick through the initial door, but at the same time there's a deeper part to them that maybe you can't access right now. In some other people's gameplay, I actually saw when they got up to a little key code in pad, so you had to physically type in a set of numbers, but you may not gain access to those numbers until a later quest or until you find something specific. So at this point, a lot of the people in my squad were actually looking to PvP, so we specifically sought out a group of members or a kind of large chunk of people on the map and went to that location, and well, I get a little bit owned. Just as an aside, that was the only time I saw anybody through any of the groups I was watching get an automatic in all of Fallout 76 at this early of a level. So somebody in my squad said they found a dragon, and all of us, fairly interested, fast traveled to him. I kind of had an idea of what he meant. I'm not entirely sure why, but that one dude was super determined to actually take down the Scorchbeast. At first, me and I think the Bethesda person in our little squad were like, alright, we'll kind of do this for a little while. But then after a while, we got it to like half health, and things got much more serious. So as we got this thing to lower health, things got really dramatic in person. A bunch of people from the area that were just watching others play kind of huddled around our little section, and even beyond that, we knew the playtest was ending. They were kind of doing their last call for everyone to fast travel back to Vault 76. Our community member was saying, alright, we have to kill this thing in like 2 minutes because the demo is about to end. And then cue the most anticlimactic looting ever. But all in all, that was pretty much it. I wanted to make this video because I feel like it was a more concise version of everything I saw. It's still fairly long as far as videos on this channel go, but it's certainly not 3 hours long, and I think it gives a good idea of all the notable things I did during my playthrough of Fallout 76. I think the Bobblehead and taking down the Scorchbeast are particularly good highlights. Either way, as always, again, I thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. I have a lot more Fallout 76 content coming. If you're interested in that, you can subscribe. But with that, I hope to see you guys all next time. Later.